I'm coming. If you hand over to government to maintain, they budget the money and share it.
To live in that particular place that the house is. So it's supposed government will even compensate them so that and pay them and relocate them to where they are going and build another house for them.
Careful engineering and management to meet human needs. Hello, it's another episode of Property Doctor, the show that brings to property owners and property users the easiest remedies to beautify your homes, to maintain your homes, and to help you save money. On this episode, we'll be discussing the high cost of housing as a follow-up to the Vox Pop episode a few weeks back. I want to discuss about it with you to have a proper understanding of what people talked about and the facts about the production cost.
The cost of erecting a building is not as cheap as we think it used to be. Okay. Because recently now all the materials, the cost of buying materials, the sand, the cement, the blocks and everything, they are expensive now.
The cost of building materials are high and the cost of production is high. So definitely
cost of production, that's the building production.
Building process is high. So definitely the rents and all that's to tell there.
You know, the desire for everyone is to have a roof over his or her head. And as we can see from various areas, we have found it very difficult to get affordable houses. And this is due to various reasons that I will be talking to you about on this episode. The first reason is high cost of building materials. Due to the current state of the economy, you will notice that the cost of importation of materials for building is now very expensive, And for example, like cement that is even produced here in Nigeria, the cost of production of cement too is going up, is increasing by the day. And cement is a very vital product that is used in construction. Also, we have other materials like the steel, the reinforcement, the wood. All these things keep going up. The prices of these materials keep going up, and it affects the cost of construction. It affects the cost of buying a property or even renting a property, because this cost will be built into the production cost, and it will make the houses very expensive. Another reason we'll take a look at is the cost of land where the property will be built. It is also a contributing factor to the high cost of properties. You will know that a piece of land in the urban area costs more than a piece of land in the rural area. But you know that we cannot build our houses without the land, and we need this land to build our houses. Some people will say, okay, we have temporary homes, but you know the temporary home, just like we said, is a temporary home. So you need a piece of land, and if the land is expensive, it will affect the cost of the building and the rent. So that's one of the reasons why you see that the cost of properties or the cost of renting a house is always going up. Another reason we'll be looking at is the high flux of people into town, into the urban areas as well. You see, a lot of people keep moving into town, and the rates at which people move into town or move into the urban area is so high. And this will be categorized with the high demands for properties, and the owner of the properties want to increase their rent or the cost of their buildings, because you know the demand is now more than the supply of those houses. And you know that there's housing deficit in town and generally in different areas. So when you see that there's the high demand for properties and the supply is not enough, definitely it's going to affect the property. It's going to affect the rate at which people get the property and the amount at which the people will get the property. I hope you're learning a thing or two from this program this morning. Now let's go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue with our discussion about why there is a high cost of buying a house or renting a property in Nigeria and in Abuja precisely. But before we go, Property Doctor has some products that will be very helpful to you staying healthy. We have Property Doctor soap, We have Property Doctor hand wash, Property Doctor air freshener, Property Doctor bleach, Property Doctor tile care. We have paints, PD paints, the emulsion paint, the satin paint, and even the screening paint. You can contact us if you want any of these products, especially if you're staying in Abuja. Stay tuned. Welcome back. If you're just joining us for the first time, you're watching Property Doctor. And on this episode, we're discussing about the high cost of housing, the rents, and the buying of properties. But before the break, I told you that the high cost of building materials, the land, and the influx of people to urban area leads to the high cost of getting a property in Abuja or in town. So I still have more points I want to give to you, like the cost of construction. The role of this cannot be overemphasized, from the cost of paying workers to the materials used for construction. These things affect the cost of building production. And this cost of labor that has increased in the market will also affect the properties, affect the renting of properties and the buying of properties. So another point we'll be talking about is the outrageous fees from agents. Some agents want to use this situation to extort money from people searching for properties, maybe to rent or to buy a property. And this can lead also to the high cost of owning or renting a property.
The rent is something which the landlord will feel he needs to make money because he has bought materials, blocks, and so many other things. And talk about the third parties, what they call them, agents, who come around and tell them they have to pay a certain amount of money before they can raise their building. So those costs, the landlord will want to transfer it down to the final consumer.
To our viewers, I want to say thank you for joining us on this episode. I hope you learned something today about getting a property or renting a property or even buying a property. Remember, if knowledge is not put into practice, it does not benefit anyone. Join me next week for another interesting and educative, informative episode of Property Doctor. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, can you do so on the link below or on the link that accompanies this video? Don't forget to turn on your notification button to get the alert of our videos. Also follow us on Facebook and on Instagram at PropertyDoctorNG and on Twitter at PropertyDocNG. And we pray you have a blessed week ahead. Don't forget to leave your comments below concerning the high cost of property or the rate at which properties are beginning to increase on our comment section below. Till then, have a beautiful week ahead. Bye.
I'm coming. If you hand over to government to maintain, the budget the money and share it.
To live in that particular place that the house is. So it's supposed government will compensate them so that and pay them and relocate them to where they are going and build another house for them.
Careful engineering and management to meet human needs.